Hello, house guests. This is Emmy from House of Chatter, and we are talking about Skinwalkers with Gelf. And I'm actually really excited about this episode, honestly. Um, so, yeah, we have some stories, and it should be a good time.
Should be. Now, I'm going to say from the very start that um, you did want to look into the Skinwalker Ranch in wherever it's based in the US. However,
Mm-hmm.
there's several around the world, apparently. There,
No.
unfortunately, I couldn't get much information on it, especially because I wanted to really look into the one for that's apparently near the Daintree Forest, near a US Army base.
Uh huh.
Which really spiked my interest. I'm like, and I can't find any information on it. It just says there's a Skinwalker Ranch there, and yeah, I'm really annoyed that I couldn't find much information. Well, information that I'm not going to pay for anyway. Um, but it did bring up an interesting point with the fact that there are several versions of the Skinwalker Ranch around the world. They usually sit within what they would call a triangle, sort of like the Bennington Triangle and stuff like that. Even though that's like just missing people, it's interesting how the shape is always like a triangular shape of things disappearing. Um, yeah, I mean, um, like think about it. The Bermuda Triangle. There's one apparently on the opposite side of the world that matches where the Bermuda Triangle sits.
No way.
Apparently, there is. Um, yeah, I need to look more into that to understand that better. But I always wonder why it's a triangle shape and not other shapes. It's kind of weird.
Well, to play devil's advocate and to throw one out there, what if it's because of a pentagram? Like a pentagram has like a significance, you know what I mean? But like in darker, I guess, religious or spiritual realms, what if it's a triangle on purpose and we just don't know about it? Like it's a bigger something.
Uh, could be, but it'd be an interesting theory to look into.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, how many triangles are there in the world? That would be something interesting because I normally hear about Bermuda Triangle,
yeah.
and that's the only triangle I've ever heard of.
Wow, you're really missing out. As I said, the Bennington Triangle is a really interesting one with all the missing people that went missing there, and I think something to do with the start of the FBI was to do with that one too.
Mm.
The kid that went missing. It was a very interesting case. It's sort of like, but the problem with that is it also ties into the missing 411 and stuff like that. Yes, I know that is completely cherry picked information, but it's kind of weird that people can be walking on a trail and just suddenly disappear. And people who are walking like 2 minutes in front or 2 minutes behind don't see or hear anything.
Yeah, that's a weird part. That sounds like interdimensional something or like realms or something.
Yeah, it's sort of like there was a guy that was running um, or training to run for a marathon, and he had a people with him, and they watched him between one stride and the next just disappear. But when the because he was married and had kids, when the kids would go, they could hear him calling out, but nothing. Um, there was also something to do with a later on, like a little bit further down. There was like a uh sort of like a fairy circle, as it were, of burnt grass, that they could hear his voice more clearly, but yeah, again, nothing.
Oh, that would make me uncomfortable if I couldn't identify.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? That guy in particular that disappeared mid stride. If you watch the second Ghostbusters when the Titanic arrives and all the ghosts are starting to just reappear, you can actually see a montage of that particular ghost, the guy that's run.
Oh my, no.
Yeah, I was real interested about that. I'm like, okay, that's a little tidbit for people that know the knowledge because you got to remember Dan Aykroyd is really into like the paranormal stuff.
Really?
So
Is he really?
yeah, yeah. Oh, he's really, really into it. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me that he knew about the story and threw that in as like an Easter egg for people that also knew the story.
Oh, I didn't even know that Dan Aykroyd was into the paranormal.
Yeah, why do you think he wrote? Why do you think he wrote Ghostbusters to begin with?
Money?
No,
Honestly, a profit. I mean, it makes a really good story, and it's the unknown, and people are drawn to things that they can't explain naturally. I mean, but who can hate Dan Aykroyd? I mean, like, I've never heard a bad thing about him.
I have like something to do with a guard on set, but and then there was another story, something similar. It's while it was back when he was filming Coneheads. Apparently, he pulled the "Do you know who I am" line type thing, but
Oh,
apparently it was resolved. But beyond that, there's never been much about him. Um, I really want to try his alcohol line, the one that comes in the Crystal Skull decanter, which is another big indication that he's into paranormal.
that's his brand? I
Yep,
had no idea. I've seen that in stores. Like, I've seen that in my corner gas station. I was like,
really, it's in the gas
who?
station. Uh,
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
think that's why he makes a lot of money because he puts it at prices where it can go wherever the hell it wants to go, and that's yeah. He does. I think he does that alcohol line more for the fun of it than
Yeah.
making money out of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can say that I've seen that brand more than I've seen other brands, because that really like sticks out to you. The skull, a
Yep.
glass skull really sticks out to you. You don't and you don't forget it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually had like one of the like a skull decanter at one stage. I had it full of chili oil.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was good because it was homemade chili oil and it was bloody brilliant.
Ooh, I've got some chili heads at home, so you got to share the secrets because they like to try all things, and you know things that I wouldn't even think that they would like my oldest got a, I don't know, it was in a chicken shaped form, but it was a hot spicy habanero pepper salsa in a chicken form bottle. Oh my god, it was so good. Like,
Yeah, I about to say
oh
that actually sounds delicious.
yeah. Oh my god. I mean, so anything in a shaped bottle, I'm like, I need to review that just in case that I'm missing something good because it kind of deceives you.
Hey, well that's something you could do on the channel. Freaking get all the celebrity alcohols and try them, and then roast the crap out of Ryan's aviation gin.
You know, I don't think aviation gin is top shelf, and I would be very afraid to try it because I would think it would affect my fibromyalgia more than I would want it to. And that is my honest feedback for aviation gin. I'm I don't think it's top shelf. I don't think it's got organic ingredients. I don't think it's clean. I don't think it's like all of the extra stuff that other brands tend to. Um that is my personal bias. So, I mean, I'd be happy to like compare it to like other brands, but I'm not like excited about trying aviation gin.
Well, the good thing is, I like. Thankfully, the fact that I live half a planet away, like I have never seen aviation gin or even Betty Booze in any of the alcohol shops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't seen Betty Boo's or Betty Buzz, and I was recently just at a Target store. I saw nothing. I actually saw, was it The Rock? Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson. I think I might be wrong, but like there was some new celebrity pop up thing, and I was like, oh, it's like thankfully it's not like Lively because I wouldn't even care. But it was somebody else at Target. But yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe your Targets actually sell alcohol. Ours don't. Ours are just like bed and bathing, like kitchen stuff, like some chocolates, like clothing, some other Manchester stuff, but that's about it. That's all it sells. We don't. Yeah, I think Australia's very restrictive on what stores can sell.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I mean, we're lucky to have a Costco with the way
Oh,
everything's set up.
oh, really? You have a Costco over there?
Yeah, we've only got like about 4 or 5 stores in the nation, and thankfully, like one of the stores is not that far away from me. It's about it'd be about an hour's ride for me.
Oh, wow. So how do you like the Costco?
Not bad. The membership system is completely weird. The fact that you've got to pay like $60 a year, or if not more than that, to be able to go in there and shop and just look around and all that. But the food's pretty good. The food that they have is, yeah, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing is our drink machines there are still like you can go back and fill up as many times as you want for free.
Oh, yeah. We get the one refill and then we have to like pay for another drink. So you guys are doing good on the endless refills over there.
Yeah, I think that's just because of the way Australia's set up with the heat and everything. They're like for them, it doesn't really matter because most people only get usually 1 cup anyway. So it'd be very rare for people to come back and get multiple cups.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting because in America, it's the reverse. We would get as many cups as we could, in my opinion. I mean, even if you refer to my children, who would go back and get as many cups as they could. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting concept, but I still want to go to like a Walmart and the other style those big massive box stores just to have a look around and see what they actually have because that's interesting to me. Like even the fact that you've got chocolates and stuff that we can't get here in Australia. Yeah,
oh yeah. No, I was just comparing um the difference between America and Australia back in like just like military terms. Like I would want an Australian MRE over a US MRE because
yeah,
that's how good you guys are.
yeah. I have heard ours do rank like there's a guy on YouTube that tests all the different MREs from around the world, and ours do rank fairly high because we care about if you feed the soldiers, then they're not gonna go and do stupid shit, um, looking for food and all that kind of stuff.
I will tell you that I was very surprised at your MREs, and I was like, please kidnap me, like please adopt me. And I was in the United States Marine Corps alongside the Australian. I'm not sure if they were Army or they were if you have a Marines sector, but I was paired with them during a Talaman Saber exercise.
Yep.
Um, and we were the year that you guys were in a drought for like ever. So we didn't carry rain gear. until it dumped on us in the middle of the outback. Um, and that's what I remember.
Surprisingly, the outback is now copying a massive dumping at the moment. Which, having a look at the way the floodplains are filling up, you can definitely see how the inland that we originally had an inland sea um, back in the time of the dinosaurs. Um, you can definitely see how that is still governs part of Australia, like with the way the water goes. It's really, really interesting. Like, but I have heard like if you go over to Lake Eyre, like once all the rain stops and everything, it becomes like this massive area just filled with flower, like wild native flowers, birds, everything. It's on my to do list.
Oh, that's gonna be on my to-do list. But yeah, I definitely remember the Australian outback being very cold and wet, and it being very unexpected. But um yeah, it was an experience. But today, what we're talking about actually is skinwalkers, when dingoes, and shape shifting. So, from what I understand, skinwalkers are exclusive to the Navajo culture, and then there's shapeshifters, which is a pretty scary concept.
Yeah, it's not exclusive to the Navajo. Aboriginal Australians also have their own belief in skinwalking and people taking other forms. I haven't really been able to investigate much into that, um, but like I went and did most of my research on like the Skinwalker Ranch and other things like that. But I did watch a video about a guy saying with the rituals for the Navajo with the Skinwalkers, um, it's mainly the bigger beast that can be transformed that they transform into because um, their souls are more easily taken to be able to transform into, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like I said, yeah, like a highly skilled person could probably, skinwalk into like a chihuahua. There's a whole heap of problems with doing that sort of thing. That's the reason why they tend to go more into like the bears, the deers, the wolves, and stuff like that. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship a little bit with some of the skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see it more along the terms of with some of it. It's more along the terms of how Terry Pratchett wrote about it and said it's more of a term of borrowing. Um, Basically, your person stays where it is, but because you take the spiritual, whatever it is that you use to imbibe, to give you that ability to basically leave your body and go take over the soul. Basically, you're borrowing that creature to do what needs to be done. That's yeah. That
Mm.
would probably be the easiest way to really think about it without getting down into the nuances of the spells and everything else and stuff like that that they use because that's still like a very closely guarded secret.
You
Yeah.
know what it sounds like? Have you ever heard of astro projection?
Yep.
And there's like the saying that I'm not sure if you have to do a ritual or grounding or something, but it's like if you leave your body, you have to like maybe put like a placeholder or be aware that someone can go into your body now that you left it. Um, it sounds like a lot of lines of that. Like I'm very surprised about that.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Khaleesi, just so you know, I'm not sure what's going on with my audio, but I know Emmy's is a little bit crackly.
Oh, am I crackly?
Yeah,
No.
it's fine. Um, Yeah. So with all that, it's like really, really interesting. So as I said, I spent most of my time looking at like the Skinwalker Ranch and stuff like that, just because of like the interesting things going on there. And like, I did say that's what I would look into for you because we can do that as well as the actual skinwalking itself. Um, so guess what? I actually have a list of several places around the world, and one of them you've already covered.
What did I
Would you like
cover?
Mount Shasta?
No way.
Hmm.
No way.
Yep.
You can't. I'm sorry. You no.
Yeah.
No.
So this is actually from Reddit. Are there other places like Skinwalker Ranch? Um, so someone's like, asking about, other similar experiences to Skinwalker Ranch. It's not asking about like the ghosts at Gettysburg or concentration camps or places like Auschwitz and all that kind of stuff where there are, other things going on, but frequent sightings of orbs, cattle mutilations that have credible witnesses. And someone named Grey Mares in Space, bloody great name. Um, Yeah, I think these are portal areas or places where the veil is just thin, things can come and go more easily, which is when we were doing that Shasta and the Bigfoot episode we were talking about. So you've got the Stardust Ranch in Arizona, um, Hessdalen Valley in Norway, the Hoa Baku Forest in Romania. Um, I'm going to butcher this one, but I think it's the Suicide Forest in Japan, the Aokigahara Forest, Mount Shasta and Mount Hayes. Apparently, the San Luis Valley. Um, so apparently, there is another ranch just down the road from the Skinwalker Ranch called Blind Frog Ranch that also has very similar phenomena going on. Um, the Ecti Ranch at the foothills of Mount Adams in Washington State. Um, that's apparently got a wide variety of paranormal stuff going on. Um, other parts are in the Unitah Basin, Mount Rainier. Um, it does say there are many places in Australia, but as I couldn't find much on the Australian list, which is really, really annoying. Apparently, there's a volcano in Colima, Mexico, that shows a lot of weird lights in that. But the weird lights that I think that would be coming from a volcano would be the ones due to stress fractures and stuff like that, because that is an observable phenomenon. That when a earthquake is about to happen, the stress in the rocks create like a ball of light. Um, I don't know where Four Skinwalker Orchard is. Point Pleasant in West Virginia. Apparently, it also has a lot of stuff, but like I thought that was just more because of the being close to New Jersey and all that kind of stuff. Um, Archuleta Mesa in New Mexico, Dulce Base. Um, Apparently, that's now abandoned. Apparently, there's a thing called the Montana Vortex. Um,
No way. Oh my gosh. Really? There's so much to be afraid of now.
yeah, someone's saying that is just forced perspective and optical illusions, but
Oh, it's one of those mystery spots.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's nothing to be afraid of then. That's
and
just
that
PR.
and yeah, something to do with Centralia. That's the place that's been on fire for like the last 60 something years.
did they make a movie off of that? What was it? Silent Hill?
No, well, Silent Hill that would have been based off the game, not off Centralia. But I think part of the history of that might have led to the formation of that. I don't know.
Interesting.
Mm.
Well, that's kind of creepy knowing that there's multiple Skinwalker ranches. I was just hoping it was an isolated thing. But of course, with my luck, it's not.
Yeah. They've even got Hosaka Castle. If I remember correctly, is that the one that's built with all of the stuff that's supposed to be on the outside is facing inside because there's a well in the middle of the castle that's been graded off, and they've actually lowered people down in there. The Nazis did, and when they pulled them up, their hair was white, and they were saying stuff like they could hear like demons down there and everything. It was really bizarre. Um, I know that's in
Oh, we
Romania.
would have to look. That's another thing we have to look into. That isn't there like a giant hole that like is could never be filled and has the sounds of like the devil and demonic entities or whatever, and they like stuck a microphone down in this giant hole.
Yeah,
Um,
well, apparently they've done that to the Kola borehole in the Siberian Peninsula, which is the deepest hole man has ever made. And they said the noises from that are unbelievable. It's like things screaming down there. Yeah, and they're saying now that the Euphrates River is drying up, there are caves now being found that were mentioned in the Bible where the Nephilim were apparently buried, and they're hearing some very weird noises coming from that too.
oh, you'll have to send me an article or something on that because I haven't heard that.
Really? Okay, that's okay. That's really interesting because I thought a lot of people would have known about the Euphrates River thing, but yeah.
Mm-mm. No, I haven't heard anything about. I haven't heard anything paranormal about the Euphrates River, so it's like kind of surprising because I don't think I've heard anything paranormal about that region. Um, but yeah, it's I that's really interesting. Um, but we have the Skinwalker Ranch, and I Wikipedia'd it.
I've got that pulled up as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently there's like 7 or 8 seasons on TV now to do with the ranch.
yeah, which is weird. I mean, it's not weird, but like, would you really want to monetize it?
No idea, but I think it's just I look at that on the same vein as the Treasure of Oak Island. The fact that there's like 10 seasons of that apparently, and they still can't get to the bottom of that pit, and yeah, that's just bizarre.
Yeah, I didn't know they had a TV show. Well, I knew they had like a maybe a History Channel something or a Netflix something, but I really didn't know that they had a series. Um, and I didn't know that they had like a book, um, and it's just really I'm not sure what to think of this, honestly. Like, is it a government thing and the government knows exactly what's going on? Or is it some sort of like extraterrestrial visitation? Or is it like wildlife and maybe we're not educated and I don't even know. Like,
Mm.
it's
Like, well,
odd.
like I do have other articles brought up about it. We'll go into them shortly, but I think with the TV show, that's more of a case of yeah, there are some real scientists that would love to get to know what's going on, but I think a lot of that would be a lot of disinformation to a degree to try and hush a lot of it up. I mean, because that's what the government's been doing from the very start. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had their hands in some of it, going, okay, yeah, you can show this, or no, you can't show that. So, um, but I would also assume there's a lot of people editing that would be going, okay, we can show this as salacious and bring in the people and money, and other parts will be like, well, no. Um, yeah, I think it's that.
That is you have a point there. It's kind of isn't that the definition of like propaganda? Like them slowly introducing this concept of skinwalkers or shapeshifters into society, and the way to do that is through slowly through folklore and then through mainstream media, as long as you can control the flow of things. Because if it really got out, there'd be mass hysteria. I mean, can you believe there's skinwalkers among us?
Well, yeah, I believe there's other things out there, but and there have been for centuries. I mean, you go back to the people that were um, like back when the American Indians were like in full force and all that. They had stories going back hundreds and thousands of years, of things that would be on the paranormal and stuff like that. Like that's the same here in Australia. There are things happening that have been reported for centuries, like even before modern white man has been there. So it's like, well, we aren't alone, and I firmly believe that.
You know, you have a point. You have a point there. I didn't think of that. Um, it's interesting how society and mainstream media can bury historical events or references, and we don't think of it. Like,
Mm.
I didn't think of that. Like, you're very yes, you're correct on that, and I was not thinking of that. So if
All right,
if it's
Emmy.
been around for centuries, is it real or is it fake? And I'm more leaning to it's been around for centuries, so there has to be something to it.
I'll give you one to think about. The Grand Canyon. Up until the 1960s, you could go anywhere and everywhere within the Grand Canyon. And all of a sudden, apparently, things were found that shouldn't be there. References to, otherworldly technology and, pre um, s- pre settlements, white people and stuff like that were found within the walls and caverns of the Grand Canyon. All of a sudden, those parts are now mysteriously under a national thing. You cannot go in there. You can't take a drone in there. You can't hike in there. You can't even fly over it. What are they hiding and what are they protecting?
Touche.
I would have figured with the government losing what I think they've lost about 10, 12 nuclear weapons around the world. You'd think they'd be more interested in finding those things than um, hiding evidence of pre-civilization. But
Can I tell you, I was a field radar operator during combat operations, and I didn't have a job at the time. So I made myself a job, and my job was records and CO, and that meant I would track all of the electronic equipment that went along with our unit and our job, which is radio communications, because you lose a radio and you're pretty much mucked, right?
mhm.
No records for anything, my friend. I'll tell you that. That was my experience. Records have a way of disappearing in combat, and there's no way of solving the origin of the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be another rabbit hole to go down to. But I think you'd need people like a lot higher up in the armed forces to figure that one out. But I think it comes down to certain people in the army and armed forces have all figured out how to rort the system a little bit to benefit themselves, and that's why things go missing. And yeah, I mean, look at all that money that was supposedly went missing before 9/11 from overseas and during 9/11 itself. That was supposedly in the towers. $3.1 billion or something went missing out of one of the building that was next to the towers that went down. Mysteriously just disappeared.
Oh. That's a conspiracy theory that we can go down. I haven't heard about that, but I haven't done a lot of research in 9/11 either.
I had a friend that had like DVDs upon DVDs of all this conspiracy theories on it, and yeah, I got to watch some. Some of it was interesting. I don't trust the lines that we've been fed about a lot of it, but yeah, like because like how many times have planes smashed into buildings before, and the buildings are still stood standing? Hasn't like a plane smashed into the Empire State Building before, and it just went yeah, whatever. But
Truth.
anyway,
Truth. Very true.
and yet, funnily enough, the Empire State Building was built before the World Trade Center, so weird. Yeah, I got another one for you. So apparently there was a place near Mobile. I think that's in Alabama. I don't know why I just did the accent for that, but I
That's
always do
okay.
because I always do because for some reason, like when you listen to the people do the movies and that, like what was that Reese Witherspoon movie where she's playing like an Alabama chick, and yeah, the accents just got me.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just say yeah that. Yeah, so apparently this guy, one he suspects is a base in George County, and likely the base from which the others, something about a Pascagoula kidnapping incident came from. There is a file in the MUFON registry on this. MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network, by the way. Um, the only thing about Pascagoula I know is something about someone brought some squirrels to a church revival.
Haven't heard of that.
It's a freaking song. It's a country and western song.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah. Home Free covered it only a couple of years back. Um, that's the only reason why I know of it. Um, apparently down near Gulf Breeze in a swampy area that is known for orbs. Stories about both areas go back to the Native American days. In George County, they were called watchers or watchers in the woods or wood demons, etc. I wonder if that's also the same as going back to the Appalachians, where they're saying with the Appalachians, there's certain rules that they obey that are um, basically they obey they since the time they can listen, because if they don't, they know that things are out there and things will come for them.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it definitely makes sense with the stories that we've covered in the Appalachia.
Mm. Status range, I think we covered that. So upstate New York, just outside of Fort Edward, I lived on 18 acres of land, most of which is wooded. When we first moved here, we would notice these purple lights in the wood at night. The next day, we would go into these areas where the purple lights were, and we found burns on the trees and the leaves that were in the area where the light was. We cleared out an entire area for a field of farming, and the lights ended up migrating to the woods that we left. However, for the past year and a half, at night in the fields, we will see these lights up there. They seem stationary for about 5 to 10 minutes, and they start to zip around. The neighbors included the ones right down from the road from me at a horse ranch, and they said they've seen similar ones that include giant green lights that appear in the field behind the horse ranch. Um, apparently, his wife and child got within 15 feet of one of the purple lights and ended up getting sick for about 2 weeks. So I wonder if that's like radiation poison or something. Um, so apparently, upstate New York and general area around the Fort Edward, Hudson Fall, Glen Lake, George, Saratoga is a very strange area. Um,
Sounds like it.
Yeah, well, with the orbs and that, there are like orbs that are natural. Like there's one here in Australia that's very, very famous. It's out in the outback. I'm surprised you didn't go anywhere near it. Um, it's called the Min Min Lights. People to this day still don't know what causes the Min Min Lights. Um,
Ooh.
because there's barely any roads out there. There's no lights. They act on their own. I have actually seen like a video clip of them.
Hmm.
They are pretty big, and like a guy's got a torch watching them, and they're like, "Oh, it could be just be like animals with bioluminescence." No, I've seen how fireflies interact. These things like would be about 10 times the size of fireflies. They're pretty freaking big. Um, yeah, it like the whole concept still gives me the heebie-jeebies of the freaking Min lights in particular because it seems like there's an awareness to them. They know what they are. They know what they're doing, and yeah, it's very bizarre. But apparently, the whole Min area is like a granite belt type thing. So I'm wondering if that could also be to do with the deep down um, plate tectonics or something. But it's kind of weird because where you would expect that to happen would be more along the fault lines, which Australia itself is very, very lucky. We sit on a plate fully. We don't have our edge of the plate is out in the ocean somewhere. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys are so lucky. Because,
So
you know,
that's the
San
reason why
Fran,
we
San
don't get.
Francisco,
Yeah,
yeah, San Francisco's on a fault line. So is like Oregon, Washington. We're all on fault lines. Like,
isn't California also on a fault line?
yes. Yes. We're in trouble if there's an earthquake.
Yeah, yeah. So for us, we don't get me wrong, we still get earthquakes here in Australia, but they aren't as big or as massive because it's got to travel inland, and depending on where it is, um, it's also got to deal with the Great Dividing Range, which is the mountain range here in Australia that goes basically from the top of Australia, like three-quarters of the way down the country. Um, it is a very beautiful mountain range. I have driven over it quite a few times now, and yeah, the biodiversity on one side to the other is very, very different, which you would have found out being out in the desert area, like doing your um, the military stuff, because on this side of the Great Dividing Range, you get all the rainfall and everything, but on the other side, you rarely get it. Okay, so now that I've brought up the other posts from Reddit, so with the Skinwalker Ranch has strongly shaped local folklore by mixing indigenous legend, modern witness accounts, and media driven myths into a widely discussed cultural story. Now, with the media driven myths and widely discussed cultural stories, I think with that can be used for good or it can be used for um, a lot of negative press with a lot of it. I generally am skeptic with a lot of that, but but with the indigenous legends, usually hold a grain of truth. So with the folklore, uh, with the Navajo and indigenous roots, the folklore source, Skinwalker legends come from the Navajo teachings and are treated with seriousness and caution. Skinwalkers are a sacred part of Navajo and other indigenous traditions. It does say, I recommend approaching the topic with respect and caution. Cultural sensitivity. Many Indigenous communities avoid openly discussing skinwalkers, which complicates separating tradition from later sensationalism, which is what I referred to earlier. Skinwalkers are often misunderstood or exaggerated in popular cultures and media, such as the Skinwalker Ranch. Um, Long-standing local reports and first-hand encounters keep the folklore alive and personal. All I can say is that a lot of large companies and the U.S. government have a lot of interest in the area, something that has made a lot of people curious. Which again comes down to that media-driven, for good or for ill. Um, Multiple people who have worked or lived nearby report puzzling lights and events that feed local legend. Driving home late one night, we had a bright light zoomed right in front of us. All four occupants saw it. All four did not believe it was modern human technology. Like with the lights, I know it happens around the world, um, and on all continents. I believe I have heard of even stories from the Arctic regions, but I don't put a lot of stock in those two in particular. But yeah, the History Channel. So it says media commercialization and tourism. The History Channel show and other media turn the ranch into a paranormal brand and tourist draw. It's basically become the Disney World of paranormal stuff at this point. The History Channel milked it so hard that the show now everyone thinks it's the epicenter of all weird activity, which just goes to show that they've taken something that could have potentially given us a lot of good into just let's see how much money we can make out of this. Um,
Which is
and
common in Hollywood.
yeah, it does say marketing changed local perception. Commercial promotion shows that the ranch made the show more famous, but also more disputed. The sheer amount of cold cash that place makes me skeptical, to be honest. Too many people have a financial interest in perpetuating the mythology, which yeah comes down to how much do you want to believe. Like I don't believe a lot of the modern sensationalized stories, but um, so government and research links. Reports of the government-funded research into the area lend seriousness and mystery to local stories. That last part is documented. There is a mysterious area that is allegedly a focal point for high strangeness that has attracted the attention of billionaire aerospace companies in the US government. I wonder if that would be NASA or I wouldn't think it'd be Tesla or what's his name, Branson or whatever. Um,
At this
investigation.
point, I don't think we need any more conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but how many billionaires own aerospace companies except for basically those two and maybe um, Bezos?
That's a good question. Something I definitely don't want to go into.
Mm. Investigations by private and government linked teams are cited, but concrete public proof remains limited, keeping folklore open ended. The team had a they had a team of 50 government people research it and also other odd locations and encounters. Um, so it says local social effects and caution, community caution and respect. Locals and experiences often urge respect and careful discussion because of trauma and cultural concerns. I'm sharing my story now to encourage other phenomena and experiences to share, provide the mutual support, and help us figure out the nature and purpose. Um, Visiting the ranch or nearby sites can be legally risky and is discouraged, which also affects how the folklore spreads. Don't get caught, but but it's a felony. For good photos. Yeah,
Yeah, it would make sense about like photos and I guess going over there and treating it like a tourist attraction because to my understanding there's still someone that lives on the actual property and is still experiencing disturbing phenomena. Um, which is it's yeah, it's interesting. Um, let's see. What do you think about shape shifting? Are you there? Do I got a problem with audio, you guys? Okay, this is the point where I start getting freaked out. So, I know that shape shifting is in like a lot of fairy tales, and I'm starting to think that there is some belief between shape shifting and skinwalkers. And if that's true, then how far does the extent go to? Does it go to sirens and werewolves and vampires? Or is it just like isolated to like, you know, what we've talked about? Um, it's just interesting because they also use shape shifting in like fairy tales and things like that. Like the Little Mermaid. What else? I guess you could say Sleeping Beauty. Things like that. Oh, it looks like Gelth is. Oh, there you go. Gelth is back. You back?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I was
Okay, sure.
I was getting worried.
I have no idea why it kicked me. Who freaking knows? Yeah. So with the shape shifting, so I'm in two minds about it. I don't think we can do it. Um, like us humans can do it. I know. There are stories of people like using the skins to help them shapeshift and all that kind of stuff, which led to the skinwalkers, etc. I do believe there probably is something out there that can shapeshift, but I also believe it would be limited in how it can shapeshift. I know, um, as you pointed out with the um, pop culture, like the Little Mermaid and all that, that is also a form of shapeshifting. That is also definitely shaped human imagination. But you've got to remember the Disney version of the shape shifting was very um, they cleaned it up and made it very sensitive to modern society. When if you look at what happens with the Grimm brothers when they first wrote it, when um, the Little Mermaid shifted, um, she couldn't walk. She had constant agony in her feet. So I do believe there would be an element of that being truthful. If you're going to shapeshift, there is going to be issues with doing so. You know, um,
That's a good point that you pointed out that the Grimm brothers did point that out, and it's really interesting how they kind of maybe humanized shape shifting and brought it to more a realistic term terms or whatever, because Disney romanticized everything, right? But the Grimm brothers, they didn't romanticize anything.
mm, yeah, and like if you look at stories of like the Selkies and stuff like that, who by day theoretically go around as seals and stuff like that, but they can shed their skin to become human. Now, if you happen to come across a shed silky skin, you can control the selkie. But there's issues doing so. They will be stuck in the land in between. And there was a story of a guy that actually did that, found a selkie, the skin, and he hid it from the female selkie and ended up marrying her and having kids with her. But she was forever stuck between the land and the sea, and it was only until years later when the kids had grown up, showing like web fingers and all that kind of stuff, as part of their mixed heritage, which leads me down to a whole heap of rabbit hole of those of us who were born with mutations, like genetic mutations. I wonder if that is where part of that story came from. Um, Eventually, the kids found the skin, gave it back to the mother, and the mother just instantly transformed and went back to the sea. She would only occasionally come back to the land to see her kids and never see the husband.
I could totally understand coming back to seeing your kids and not seeing your husband.
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah, I'm definitely more interested in the mutation line of that. Like humankind has always tried to find either folklore or um, other reasons as to why people don't look like people. That why they're born with the, as I said, the webs between their fingers and all that kind of stuff. It'd be very
well,
interesting. I would love to know how much of the folklore would have come up around because of that. Like you'd think with, like, changelings are, you know that's the reason why your kids misbehaved and all that, because Queen Titania took your kid to spoil them, and you got a changeling in return. um and that kind of stuff. It'd be, yeah, it's very, very interesting.
well, from a healthcare standpoint, have you heard of the lobster man back in, I think it was like the 18 or 1900s, and he traveled with the circus and his hands were um or his
that
fingers were fused to where they ridiculed him and nicknamed him as the lobster man. Have you
that
heard
that's
about that?
that's because his fingers are fused. It's
Mm-hmm.
not it's not polydidactyl. It's something similar to that. God damn it. I have heard the story. I've even seen the
Mm-hmm.
photos. Um,
Yeah. So then what's to say that, I mean, in theory, we all start out as a kind of a tadpole. You know, we have a tail, we have the
I,
tadpole type appearance, and maybe sometimes we might continue that on. I mean, maybe there's a chance, a minuscule chance that we carry that on in some sort of characteristics, and it comes out as maybe a lobster man or someone with webbed feet.
or it could also be because they've um, if there's like twins or something, and they've partly absorbed the twin or something like that,
Oh,
and they haven't put.
mhm.
But you do realize, Amy, you are incorrect. When
Okay.
when when the sperm fertilizes the egg, basically the first thing that gets made is the asshole. Now, some people don't realize this, and some people don't progress beyond that point. But I'm not going to touch that. Um, but you got to think, throughout history, like with some of that, like, have you noticed, like, a lot of the big, like like the really bad freaks, like, if you want to use that term, um, a lot of those are no longer being born because either we're screening for impurities, or things like the elephant man and all that kind of stuff. We're not seeing them in today's society. So it really makes you wonder with a lot of that.
I don't disagree. I'm sorry. I'm still
You still
laughing at
pro-
the a
you
hole concept. I don't disagree with you. Um, and modern technology has lended itself to, maybe, in my opinion, maybe designer babies. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, when we were doing IVF, we screened for like everything. Like, I didn't know how much you could screen for when you're doing like IVF, but it's kind of like they give you a menu of stuff to choose from and all of these tests. And we were just like, everything. Like, whatever
yeah.
you can imagine, that's what we want to know. We talked about it, like the what ifs and the pros and cons of imaginary stuff that didn't even like exist. But modern technology gave that to us. If we didn't have that, we would probably been like, meh, it doesn't even matter, just throw it in there.
Uh, hold that thought for a second. I'm just gonna get a drink. Hold on.
Okay. And I don't mean like throw it in there like disrespectfully, but I mean like we we talked about it. We talked about quality of life. We were in healthcare. He was the respiratory therapist. To be honest with you, I was a registered nurse. We talked about it, and unfortunately, we talked about what kind of quality of life we would want for someone, and um, there are certain diseases that we considered to have a poor quality of life and wouldn't wish that on anybody. And that was our hard red line.
Here's my question over the whole thing, Emmy.
Yeah.
What what did Hitler and the Nazis try to do? What was their main goal? The Aryan race. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want, yeah, that feels like it's similar and selfish.
So if you're like, I can understand. Okay, I can understand doing it, going and screening like for IVF for anything that potentially could be very dangerous to you or your child. I can understand that and respect that. But if it's now getting to the point where, and they've done this, and several kids have already been born, where they are, as you said, designer babies that are just, to make the purest baby they can, which is technically, recreating the master race, the Aryan race, but now doing it because, hey, we can do that. We can scan for all of this stuff, but we can also tweak the genome a little bit and go, we can make a better, more advanced human with this, and which I find thoroughly disgusting because what's to stop another, I'm gonna say it, another Hitler from coming about and going, now that we've got the technology to do this, we're going to do this for everyone. Everyone now, their child must meet this standard, um, genomic standard before they're allowed to be born. Which brings you back to that 1980 thing, and everybody was born for a purpose. Therefore, your kid's going to grow up to be, work in a factory. This kid's going to be the next politician. This kid's going to be this. This kid's going to be that. It's at that leading edge of that very slippery slope. Which, yeah. But anyway, we should probably get to the Skinwalker thing. Oh, by the way, I found something. Did you know apparently there is a Skinwalker Island on Lake Mead? Um,
No. Oh goodness.
apparently it's
That's comical. Are you serious?
apparently Skinwalker Lake in Lake Mead is a location rumored to host paranormal activity, including sightings of coyotes and dog-like creatures.
That is a
Right.
downer. That okay. That's on my list not to visit. I can't. No, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, like I do understand Lake Mead has a lot of issues because it's losing a lot of its water too. So a lot of things are popping up that they're now finding, like boats and people in containers from the 70s that have been dropped there from the mafia and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and apparently there was a ghost town. They found a ghost town that was submerged by the lake.
Whoa, really? Wow. Lake Mead
Yeah.
is more paranormal than I thought it was. Because I thought Lake Mead was like fancy, smancy, high society. Am I wrong?
Mm. Yeah, that was just one of the more little interesting things that I found while I was singing. I'm trying to find the thing. Here we go. Is this the one that I was looking for? So yeah, so with the Skinwalker Ranch, as we know, it's in Utah, renowned for decades for intense, unexplained phenomena, including UAP, UFO sightings, large glowing um, orbs, a large wolf-like creature, and cattle mutilations. Um, Apparently, modern investigation from Brandon Fugel's team have documented a 1.6 gigahertz signal, invisible bubbles disrupting technology, and anonymous electromagnetic electromagnetic fields above a mysterious mesa. Um, so yeah, so the key anomalies I know Kalisha's going to bag me up for my pronunciations. And strange occurrences. UAPs and orbs, frequent unexplained aerial phenomena, including lights that disappear into landscape and small, intelligent seeming orbs. Apparently, if the orbs touch you, they leave a like a burn mark behind. Um, the invisible bubble. Researchers have identified a 50-foot zone, particularly around the central area known as the triangle, that causes GPS, drone, and rocket malfunctions. Um, the 1.6 gigahertz signal, a recurring mysterious radio frequency signal, often coincides with UAP sightings. Which brings me back to that guy that could apparently summon UFOs. He did that on TV and was actually recorded. They it was uh, like one of the late night TV shows. They actually sent a person out with him and they recorded several UFOs after he called them. Um, the electromagnetic anomalies measurements have detected energy spikes comparable to the inside of a microwave oven, suggesting advanced non-terrestrial technology. But here's the problem with that one. Earth technically makes its own electromagnetic field, which is what, the atmosphere basically has a shield made of, which protects us from the dangers of space. Who used to say freaking there aren't bubbles of it floating around the Earth in regards to that? It might not be, advanced non-terrestrial technology. It might just be something that the Earth is doing because of the magnetic poles. Um, Physical and biological anomalies. Reports include cattle mutilation to surgical like precision, bloodless carcasses, and bulletproof wolf like creatures. That one obviously is a lot harder to explain. With the bulletproof wolf creature, that was the very first story that I ever came across. I will read it, I do have it here somewhere. Apparently, there's also subterranean anomalies. LiDAR scans and ground penetrating radar have indicated potentially massive hidden or metallic objects buried deep within the property's mesa. Or if they know that there's metallic objects that are down there, why can't, like, 'cause from what I've heard, there was mining there originally. Couldn't it just be something from that? Um, Apparently, incidents of missing or altered or corrupted data during experiments. So that was the TLDR. Where's that one on? Um, yeah, so I found this thing with some obscure stories. It doesn't go much into it, but apparently there's the Sherman family, which they were the people that owned the ranch that first reported the wolf, the cattle mutilations, and the other strange anomalies. Um, Apparently, the Sherman family reported hearing voices in a choppy language blending Russian and Native American, which laughed when addressed. Drilling into the mesa revealed pieces of a highly engineered ceramic at a depth of 470 feet, causing investigators to halt drilling to avoid damaging the potential anomaly. Um, like ceramics, that'd be like clay pots and all that kind of stuff. But it'd be interesting to find out what that is. Um, Apparently, there is a large hidden dome 300 meters below the surface, which mirrors an anomaly detected in the sky. Isn't there a passage in the Bible, what happens below happens above, or something similar to that? That they think that the sky is nothing but like a big overturned bowl type thing, like the firmament or whatever they call it. Um,
I have no idea, but I'll research that. I'm not an expert on the Bible.
I went to several Catholic schools and all that kind of stuff, so that's why
Oh,
I have a passing knowledge of it. Um,
is there anything? Is there anything remotely close to that?
not that I can think of, but the only thing that I can really think of is a line that's been repeated throughout history: "What happens above happens below." Um, yeah, I don't remember where that line came from. Yeah, it's. But I find it kind of weird that if there's a hidden dome, like surely they'd be able to find their way down to it and figure out what the hell this damn dome is.
Truth.
Um, it said there's a second homestead. Reports indicated a 7 foot tall, black clad, metallic looking entity next to a square hovering structure. They've experienced, with a rabbi's guidance, sudden localized temperature drops. Why the hell would they use a rabbi? Like, I don't know. Did they go through like very different like all the different priests and that? Because I don't think rabbis would generally hold exorcisms and stuff like that. That's normally the Catholic Church's purview.
Truth, but if the Catholic Church has a division, why wouldn't any other sect not have a division? Like, isn't it in the realm of possibilities?
It is, and by the way, you can hear water dripping. The like I know that they have their own supernatural stuff, like golems and all that kind of stuff, but this I don't know. This just seems like it wouldn't be their background type thing.
Oh, truth.
I don't know. Maybe that's just my Catholic upbringing thing. But then again, I'm not a big fan of the Catholic Church just because various reasons. Like I still remember Mr. Rockford scaring the fuck out of us with the axe handle, but that's fine.
Uh, uh, uh Hospice do not disagree with you.
Mm, yeah. Um, Apparently, researchers have and previous residents have experienced significant psychological distress and paranormal harassment.
What's paranormal harassment?
I don't know. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything more on that, which is really, really annoying. Which, as I said, some of this stuff, it's like some of the information is hard to find because they will give like the title for it, and then there's no information for it, and you go googling it, and it'll lead back to the TV show, which is I think another issue that I have with all of this is the fact that there's TV shows about all this. They're using the TV show to hide the rest of the data because the algorithms are only pick up on the TV show. And unless you know how to get around the algorithm, you're screwed.
That is that's pretty amazing insight. I bet you we could talk to Shash Hole Media and go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's sort of like the conspiracy theory with Walt Disney being frozen and hidden beneath the one of the buildings in Disneyland, waiting to be resurrected. That's the reason why they made the movie Frozen, so that the movie would come up more than Disney being frozen. That's just one of those stupid little things. So apparently, he was cremated and buried. He wasn't roasted. So
Oh,
I find that one of the most stupid fucking conspiracy theories. Sorry for swearing, but yeah, that one, yeah, just still makes me shake my head and go, some people are idiots for that one.
oh, I thought that was the related to the sword thingy. I don't know.
Um,
Like if you pick up this like sword that's like stuck in this rock that no one's ever gonna like pick up, it's supposedly, well, maybe I'm getting it wrong. I'm probably getting it wrong, but I always
okay,
thought it had.
you're thinking of the sword in the stone. Now,
Yeah.
with that, there is a hilarious freaking episode of The Simpsons where they parody that, where it was either Ralph or one of the children related to the guy from the mafia went to pull the sword, and then you see the Disney employee with the clicker that lets the sword be released have a gun pointed at his head. Um, yeah. So yeah, that the sword and the same thing can be released. It is actually held in place by magnets, and they do let certain kids pull the sword and the stone. Um, but you have to pay for that privilege.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So sorry to spoil the thing for that. I have actually read into that one, and yeah, yeah, okay, I can understand the thing for it. If you're doing it for a kid, like for his birthday or something like that, then of course you're gonna do, pay a little bit extra to get that little bit of,
Oh, that
get
would
that
be
little bit of
perfect.
Disney magic.
That would be perfect. The boys have been asking to go to Disneyland for the summer. And if I can just pay a little extra to have them pull a sword out of the stone, do you know how epic that would be? That's like epic parent level, like brag at school.
Why don't you just, like, when you're organizing the trip, ask them. Just go, "Look, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I know I might have to pay a little bit extra for it. Can I organize to get this done?" And that should be done.
Yeah, that's like brilliant. That's
Mhm.
that's brilliant. I'll ask that and I'll see what happens.
Well, that's the reason why a lot of things that happen. It's like, why don't you just ask and see if you can do it? Most people are like, yeah, sure, just give us a 20 or whatever, and freaking, yeah, there we go, done, sorted. No,
Yeah,
it's not
but
that hard.
some people like me have like super anxiety and it's really scary to ask a question. Like, so I've been at work for 3 weeks, right? And I know I'm supposed to have like a thermometer and like a blood pressure cuff and equipment, right? Because I'm going to go see hospice patients.
Yep.
And then I'm like, well, maybe they're just waiting to give me the equipment until I pass a certain point, right? And then I passed or like 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing patients now with another person. And they're asking me if I have equipment. And now I'm using other people's equipment. And I had all of this anxiety. And then I finally had to ask the office. I was like, I'm so sorry. Is it possible to get like a thermometer? And they're like, oh yeah, you forgot to give it to you. It's okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so scared. I thought like you guys were like waiting for a certain point or something. And they're like, no, we just totally forgot to give it to you. We're so sorry. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was really freaking out for nothing. But it's a good thing that I asked, but I can see why anxiety can prevent you from stuff. And it's probably my bad for waiting so long.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. Like, but the way I look at also too, like, I was always brought up, don't ask dumb questions, don't ask this, don't ask that. But the thing is, the way my brain is structured, I know I'm on the spectrum somewhere, and I've got to ask. Like, even now at work, if there's something I don't know, I will still go and ask. Like, yeah, I kind of feel like a dumbass sometimes, but I'm like, well, if I don't ask, I'm not going to know, and I'm not going to be able to do my job better. I think it's just overcoming that because, as kids, we're told not to ask questions, even though that's the whole thing for school: ask questions, question everything. Um, yeah, it's a bizarre dichotomy.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? I'm better for it, but I suddenly realized that about myself.
Mm. Okay,
Khaleesi
but
says there's a lot of videos online breaking down how to plan your Disneyland days. Oh, I'm there. So there.
yeah. Oh, that's all right. I've got like I'm the same. I've got a couple of notes here for things I'm going to look into. By the way, so I found out the key details about the ranch before its rise to national notoriety. So the Sherman era, which is the family that bought the property in 1994 to 1996. The Shermans experienced a reign of terror shortly after moving in. Yay! My power's back on. It means I can cook dinner after this. Woo! Sorry. uh, Including intelligent, invisible forces, orbs, and vanishing cattle. Something about, if I remember correctly, it was something about some prized, like really expensive cattle for the time that he was trying to breed that just mysteriously disappeared. Um, it's in an area called UFO Alley. Um, the surrounding Uinta Basin has a long history of paranormal reports, with strange fireballs recorded in the area by Franciscan missionary Sylvester Velez de Escalante in as early as 1776. Um, the site borders the Uinta and Ouray Indian Reservation. The name Skinwalker is derived from the Navajo legend of a malevolent shape-shifting witches, which local tribes noted the region long before the ranch was officially named. So the fact that it was already basically called this like Skinwalker before it was that, yeah. And apparently in 1996, a millionaire Robert Bigelow bought the property to establish the National Institute for Discovery Science, to scientifically investigate the phenomena of the show after the Shermans moved out. Like they did stay for a while, and helped with the running of the ranch and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, um, yeah,
Let's see, what do I have? Uh, oh, my Wikipedia page is just bringing up the oh, the Grimm brothers.
uh, it. If you just look up the Wikipedia Skinwalker Ranch, that's where I'm at now. Actually, funnily enough, I brought that up.
Uh,
Treasure
oh, I got it.
Hill.
I got it. Background in pop culture. Oh, wow. I didn't know they had that many TV and film shows.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. Apparently, it was dubbed UFO Ranch due to its ostensible 50-year history of odd events that have taken place, according to Keller and Knapp. Um, they say they saw or investigated close to 100 incidents of, vanished and mutilated cattle, flying objects, large animals with piercing red eyes that were unscathed and struck by bullets. Among those involved were retired U.S. Colonel John B. Alexander. Um, yeah.
See, it says what? Uh, Ownership. So it looks like someone owned it for like decades, right? And then suddenly in 1994, the story changes. And
Yeah, but
now it's in an LLC. And it's been in an LLC since 2016.
the problem is apparently when the Shermans bought it, like the Kenneth, the Myers family had like locks on their cupboard doors and all that kind of stuff, and like heavy locks on all the doors and everything. So they knew something was going on, but they just lived with it and didn't bother reporting it, which you can kind of understand. But I find it interesting that apparently the Department of Defense appropriated $22 million to help study the aerial phenomena in that area.
Yeah, that's a little creepy. Every time the federal government gets involved in anything, I'm just like, So there's
Yeah,
credence to something. I just don't know what.
yeah. It's like I listened to a podcast the other day, the incident at Kecksburg, by Simon Whistler. I love his channels. Yeah, it's sort of similar with that. Like with the, it's always the army that gets involved, and the stories are always like weird once the army gets involved. It's always one way until once the army gets involved, and then there's like 10 different stories that just suddenly pop up. It's like, are you kidding?
What year did the Department of Defense get involved?
Um,
Do do you know?
it doesn't say. It just says so the 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 Keller and Knapp's book was read by Defense Intelligence Agency official James Lukasky, who contacted Bigelow and obtained permission to visit the ranch. He apparently had a supernatural experience there, which Bigelow relayed to his friend, and then yeah, that's when they decided to invest money from the government into it.
Okay, because it looks like if you look at their film history, there's like this huge gap between 2013 and 2019. And I'm like,
Mm.
what was going on between those dates? And like,
Yeah,
what happened?
apparently the book came out in 2005, so it's probably before that.
Yeah. I mean, but Skinwalker Ranch was on Joe Rogan. And then it had like individual TV series, Ancient Aliens. I mean, it's like the story is so interesting. I mean, I'm tending. This is the first time where I'm like, yeah, maybe it can be extraterrestrials. And
Mm.
this one,
Yeah, it does say here the skeptical author Robert Schaefer believes most of the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch to be almost certainly illusionary. Given that NIDSI found no proof after several years of monitoring that the previous owners of the property who lived there for 60 years say that no supernatural event of any kind had happened there. But then why was all their stuff all chained up and everything? Um, Schaefer considers the explanation to be reliant on the fewest assumptions that the Sherman family invented the story prior to selling it to a gullible Bigelow, with many of the more extraordinary claims originating solely from Terry Sherman, who worked as a caretaker after the ranch was sold to Bigelow. That would also fit in with the Amityville horror, where they think that was deliberately churned out to when they sold the house or whatever it was, to make more money.
oh, true.
Mm.
But in reality, if you were to sell a haunted house, it's really devaluing the property. But yeah, just from my marketing real estate limited perspective, it'd be hard to move.
Mm. Yeah, so apparently that adamantium real estate LLC thing, um, yeah, providing recreation, entertainment service, namely creation, development, production, and distribution of multimedia content and internet content, motion pictures, and television shows. So basically, it was bought by yeah, and yeah, um, people looking to make money and exploit the crap out of it.
Yeah. Oh, that I I'm speechless. That's wow. I
Yeah,
would have
that
never I'm speechless. That's like totally like, hey, you have a haunted house. Let me buy it from you so I can put it on TV and make even more money while you're suffering and probably upside down on your mortgage and your whole life turned around.
yeah, which brings into the credibility like of a lot of the stories now because how much of it's been manipulated for the media,
Hmm.
etc., etc. Um, yeah, that's just
It's almost like, how often are you going to throw the haunted house party? Are you just going to do it for the month of October, or are you going to do it from August to September and then October? That's what it feels like. Opportunistic.
yep.
Ew, gross. That's just horrible. Just I don't know. I think the trauma from like a haunted house or haunted experience, I truly believe is like one of the worst traumas that you could experience because in society or in healthcare, any conversation about the paranormal is taboo and no one will talk to you about it.
Yep, and if you're sitting there taking your time to talk to the residents, like because as I said, I actually got in trouble for this by the head of nursing several times. Like instead of going on lunch breaks, I was wasn't hungry at this time. I was only like 18, 19, whatever at the time I was. So I would sit with the residents and spend some time with them during my lunch break. And because I was talking to them about everything and anything, whatever they wanted to talk about, I would be the one getting in trouble for that stuff. And it's like, but it's my time to waste. It's my lunchtime. I can do what I want. Like, just because I'm not outside smoking with everyone else doesn't mean, it's stupid the way that rule is.
Yeah, they took a lot of humanity out of healthcare. I will tell you that. And it went all into documentation and charting and in turn stats for someone who wants to make reports. My opinion only, but again, I'm just a hospice nurse. I really
Well,
nothing.
here's the thing that annoys me. Like, it hasn't, like, nursing hasn't really changed that much. Yeah, we've got all these new wonderful toys to play with, but the problem is when with all those new toys, you don't get to use them because they're like, we don't have time to do that. Just do it the old fashioned way. Pick them up and throw them in the chair. Don't use the lifters. Don't use this. Don't use that. Just bodily pick them up and slam them around. It's disgusting. It's the reason why I'll never work as a nurse again. Yeah.
Well, we don't slam people around, but it's definitely difficult when you have to have equipment that requires two people and you're one person waiting and waiting and waiting and desperately waiting in a necessary two-person witness scenario.
Yep.
So, but anyways, nursing homes should have more help than what they're getting. And that's my personal opinion. Just because, yeah, you stay in a nursing home overnight and see what happens. No one's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, I worked at one that's just actually up the road from where I currently live. Um I did a couple overnight shifts and like I'm in the hostel section, thankfully. I wasn't actually in the proper nursing home section, so I didn't have to do much. Like like they're like, oh, you can go and sleep for like 3 hours on duty because there's nothing doing anyway. Um But even then, just going and making the rounds, there was some creepy crap going on. And yeah, some residents were always up, some were down, but just there was some unexplainable things that were people walking around that shouldn't have been walking around that can't walk around. And yeah, that, yeah, it still, yeah,
Don't disagree.
like,
Do
thankfully, it's no longer like Masonic care. It's actually something else now. I don't know why the Masonic Lodge lost its ability to do that, but damn.
Yeah, well, hopefully everybody's being taken care of. In the end, that's what's important.
Yeah, but sadly, the problem with hostels and nursing homes and all that, people just dump their relatives there to die. It's a one-way trip, sadly. Very rarely does someone go there and then get to go back home. That's the thing that I don't like about them.
Not going to dispute there.
So I found something from Utah.com about the ranch.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so hold on. So I'll just scroll down a bit. I want to figure out what this. It mentioned something. So it's just like a throwaway line. But enough about the big U2 claw outside of Loveland Aquarium. I want to know what the hell that is. I'm gonna have to Google that. um, so it's saying about how the Utes and the Navajo, like I swear it should, um, unless the Ute is short for that Unitar name or whatever it was. The Shermans. Who cares about the Bigelow guy? Because I don't really trust him because he's freaking thingo. So it says since time recorded, and like the 1950s, there have been hundreds of reports of the UFOs and reported phenomena in the thingo. Neighbors of the ranch report seeing various types of bright lights in the sky, often appearing as a shape that looks like a doorway or a portal. Others report giant flying objects. Um, doesn't that kind of lead into the science fiction trope of, like the portals, like the gateways for Stargate or that kind of thing?
I think so.
Um, so a couple of theories. People are lying to get money. Subscribers to this theory were likely the same people who raised a hand at the end of class and reminded the teacher that they had all the homework due. It's not a fun theory at all, so it shouldn't even be considered. Yeah, well, we all know people lie, especially the fact that there's a millionaire and the government's involved in this. Extraterrestrial visitors. Unsurprisingly, this is the one of the most popular theories about the anomalies at Skinwalker. It would certainly explain a lot, like the bright lights, flying objects, strange voices, electrical disturbances, and cattle mutilations with scientific precision. Um, but why would our flying friends be so secretive? Maybe they're filming a docu-series of their own. Interdimensional visitors, just like Theory 2, but with a sort of Marvel cinematic universe twist. Rather than believing in UFOs arriving from another planet, subscribers to this theory believe that they arrive from a parallel dimension or universe. Sounds crazy, but this would certainly explain why the lights in the sky sometimes appear to look like portals, and any other kind of interdimensional gateway would be bound to cause some anomalies. Um, this was the thing I was saying. Geophysical processes causing the brain to hallucinate. Okay, so hold on to your brain protecting tinfoil hats for this one. Developed by neuroscience Michael Persinger, this theory posits that the geophysical forces like the tectonic shifts, seismic activities, geomagnetic fields, and other effects may affect part of the brain involved with creating hallucinations. Under this reasoning, everything people experience at Skinwalker is a result of increased in seismic activity in the area. So those shapeshifters, UFOs, and portals are all just the result of witnesses' brains going haywire on account of imperceptible change to the local environment. It's all pretty out there, but this theory has the biggest words in it, so it makes it the most likely. Which also comes down to infrasound. Do you know what infrasound is, Emmy?
Oh,
Emmy.
no clue.
Okay, so basically, infrasound is it's a very low level sound that we humans can pick up on. It's the one that basically makes the hair stand up on the end of your on your arms and all that kind of stuff. It can screw with your brain. They did a thing with infrasounds in the London Tubeway, surprisingly enough. Um, the trains rushing through the tunnel would create like obviously wind going pushing before the trains and after the trains and all that. It would create a specific resonance within the wind and like against window panels and all that kind of stuff that would basically set the human psyche up at a thing to basically make it as if you can see and hear things, which to me is I would love to know more about it because to me I'm wondering if infrasound can do that to our brains. If we were to push that to the nth degree, how far could that actually create phenomena for us?
The Stranger Things theory.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on. I'll Google it.
What is it? The M something? Oh my gosh, what is it? It's the M something Manhattan, not the Manhattan Project. The it's a base. Why can't I remember it? Mokta. Mokta Project. Mokta Project? Mokta Project.
Yeah, yeah, the one with that creature washed up on that beach.
Yeah, but it goes further into that. It goes into children and psychic abilities and amplifying things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like a kid was like, F this, I'm gonna get out of here, and he created a monster, and then they shut down the project because the kids could figure out how to rise against them.
I think I've heard of that. But there's also more to that, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I brought
Yeah.
up the thing with resonance. So it's synchronization, harmonization, vibrations, or simple resonance in the most general sense to have an integral relationship with consciousness itself. One of the possible neural correlations of consciousness in mammalian brains is a specific combination of gamma, beta, and theta electrical synchronicity. More broadly, we see kinds of resonance patterns in living and non-living structures of many types, with clues that can resonance provide about the nature of consciousness more generally. Um, yeah, this has got all the big words. I can't find it. Freaking hold on. I'll see if I can dumb it down a little bit. Like I understand, Dinger. I understand where it's going coming from.
Sorry, what? I like the dumbed down version.
Okay, so I actually took resonance meaning for kids, so this should be right up your alley. Uh, sorry. Resonance when an object vibrates strongly because it hits with the exact right speed or frequency, making it shake or sound much louder. Thinking it as syncing up, like pushing a friend on a swing at the perfect time to make them go higher, or singing a note that can break glass. That's what resonance is. But the fact that uh, hold on, that's so it's yeah. So no. I know what it's trying to say with this thing. Like trying to find the right freaking thing for it because it's saying with the resonance, like with the infra infrared, it's like basically think of it like the little atoms in the microwave, and the microwave's exciting them to the right thinger type thing, making it heat up, which would be what infrared would be doing to our psyche, which makes us more susceptible to everything else.
You know, that makes sense. It makes sense because also we all have a was it a baseline electrical impulse, and energy has to go somewhere, and energy can't be destroyed.
Hmm.
Khaleesi says she likes pizza with mushrooms and pineapple.
Yay, Kalinci. Because yeah, I agree with all of that because I like all that too. So yeah,
I
as
like
long as long as it has chili.
chili, like hot sauce.
No, like actual chili on it.
Can you define that? I'm
Like
confused.
diced chili. Like get a piece of chili, cut it up, and throw that on your pizza as well.
Get a piece of chili,
Yeah, and
like a
cut it up.
jalapeno.
No, like chili, like dried chili, like a hot chili, like freaking, just like
Oh,
a chili pepper, and cut that up and throw that on the pizza.
like crushed red pepper.
Yeah,
Yes.
you really need to get Discord or something so I can actually take a photo and show you. God.
I'm sheltered and traumatized, don't you know?
Well, the fact that you're hiding in the bathroom says a lot.
Truth. Meanie, but truth.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all the information I've got with the Skinwalker stuff, but yeah. There is a lot more to definitely go into. I reckon that the triangles around the world and the Bennington Triangle would be the next topic. Because that would be the next logical one. Because the Red Sea Triangle, which is the one opposite from the Bermuda Triangle, would be one to go into to blow your mind again.
Ew. I didn't realize that. Oh my
Mm.
God. So it's like, you know what that reminds me of? Okay. This is what it reminds me of. You know when you're kids and you're digging in the backyard and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna dig to China. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like a I don't know, a tunnel, a funnel, a connection, a I don't know,
Well, yeah.
twisty tunnel, water thingy. I don't know.
I don't know why that is a
Wormhole.
saying. I don't know why that is a saying all the way around the world because we even say it here. I remember that being said to me as a kid. And yet, for us, China is nowhere near in a direct line from us. That's yeah,
Well, you know what I mean. Like
yep,
there's it's there has to be something to it. There has to be. There
yeah. But
it's a rabbit hole.
as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, with that, you wouldn't be digging through the planet. You'd be digging like through like the top, like the top few millimeters of dirt. Like that's how far down the tunnel would theoretically go if you're going to do it. Like if you look at the globe and you dug the hole from where you are to like wherever directly opposite, it wouldn't go through the planet.
Well,
It's yeah,
true. But still I there has to be what is it? A yin and yang. Yin
yeah. Well,
concept.
that's part of the theory of why they reckon there's one at Bermuda, one at the other side of the planet. But um, so they said I'll put this in very simple terms for you. The northern aurora is apparently the mirror image of the southern aurora.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
No way.
Apparently, that's the way they've recorded it a few times, like being basically mirror images. But yeah,
That's
Well, Kelsey, I could not make that more simple. I'm trying to dumb my brain down to that level, and I can't. Maybe if I went and got the made that food that I'm gonna make, and I make myself really happy and content with food, I might be able to.
I want some food.
I'm making beef rendang after this
That
with
sounds
lots of chili. Lots and lots
you
of chili.
you have to share the recipe for us.
I just use the one that's on the back of the AM product. I could make it properly, but I can't be bothered.
Oh,
I'm doing the cheats version. Only
that's
because I've
okay.
got
We
a
don't have that version here, so you could happily share it with us.
only because I've got the proper coconut milk to go into it, and I bought like a shit ton of it because I love coconut milk in the sauce, and I got a whole heap of roti chan to eat the sauce with the roti, and yeah, I'm gonna be in heaven when I do that.
Um, can you kidnap me and like feed me? I won't
Hell no,
complain.
hell no. I'm even gonna pull out my rice cooker and cheat cooking rice and throw it in my rice cooker and let my rice cooker do the job for me.
You know, you're like the perfect person.
What the fact that I know how to cook? I mean, I
My
learned to cook.
children would tell you it's a blessing and to save us. That's how desperate they are.
Put it this way, I learned to cook after being kicked out of home on Christmas Day when I was 12 years old. I got
Oh,
sent to my grandparents to live. And yeah, my grandfather, who used to be in the army, he was like, I would deliberately get myself into trouble and get sent to do kitchen duty so he could get better food. And he learned to cook while he was in the army for cooking for like lots of people. And then he went um, and did like lots of cooking courses and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he eventually he taught me how to cook, and he was the one that got me to love my spices because when he first made a curry, I couldn't eat it because it was too hot, and then he slowly introduced the heat to me to the point where now I can outdo most Indians with heat because I am so freaking used to it.
wow, that's an incredible story.
Yeah, story of my life. Shit happens, I recover, and yeah, move on from it.
Truth to that. My mom didn't cook, so I learned from, well, it was McDonald's like every single day. But she would cook during holidays, and so she would cook a ham and then do like the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the yams. So I saw her do that stuff, but honestly, if I get stressed out, I am going through a drive through and like stuffing my face with some chicken nuggets. And the chicken nuggets better have sauce.
Yeah, um, I just wish I had better sources. But anyway, I'm trying to avoid a lot of the takeaway food and all that. Like I don't try to eat out as much anymore. Just because I am trying to bring my weight back down under 100 kilos. But yeah, the last weekend I've kind of piled on the on a few kilos because I've been eating like really good. And being lazy because I mean I can because yeah, it's the weekend. I'm allowed to. Um, yeah, no,
That's
I
right.
like you know what I like. You know those pasta like the pasta you just add milk, water, and butter to.
Yeah.
Um, I learned to cook with those. They were the first things I learned to cook on my own. Um, I, I I stopped using water straight away. I just use pure milk, um, milk butter, and then I learned to cook bacon, eggs, and like get fried peas. Occasionally, like I go steal some of my grandfather's barbecue pork that he'd make and throw that in. And learn to make full meals out of that, and learn to, like my grandfather always taught me to cook with the recipe once. Then you sit there and make all the changes on the recipe, and then you learn to cook by touch, by feel. Um, and yeah, I'm good at that. I can cook with just by this looks good. Throwing in this, throwing in that, whatever, and generally works out for me.
Oh, well, you're very lucky because
Yeah, apparently that's a rare skill to have now. Apparently, which is
yes.
I don't know why. It's just it's a simple skill. You learn it after time. What works together, what doesn't. You know what your own palate will tolerate, so you learn to adjust based on that. It's nothing major.
Yeah, the only thing that I can make that the kids love are breakfast sandwiches. So my youngest has been asking for what they call home lunch. It's where you send lunch to school from home. And so I've been sending breakfast sandwiches for lunch, and he's on top of the world. I'm telling you.
Here's the thing: I grew up doing that. Like we grew up going to school with lunches. Like unless my father made them, and put hard boiled lollies because we weren't allowed lollies at school. And Dad was like, "That was my only way of sneaking you guys lollies." I'm like, "Yeah, but Dad, hard boiled lollies on sandwiches? No." Freaking.
Oh, that's
It's
sweet.
I get the sentiment now, but as a kid, you're like, oh, for you know, yeah, it's one of those things I still shake my head at now, time to time. But yeah, no, we grew up taking sandwiches to school because money was tight for us as kids, back in the 80s. But Yeah, even now, like I don't take a cut lunch with me. I probably should, but problem is the bread that you get today, because it's so full of artificial crap. I can't eat it. I get sick eating it.
So that's unfortunate. Khaleesi
Yeah.
says, if I'm lucky, any of the meals I said make it to school before we get there. You know, I have a 16-year-old and I was trying to do like the amazing mom thing and like food prep for like a whole week for three boys, one of them being 16, one of them being 99% on the height and weight chart, and then another one being, well, now he's normal, but he used to be below 25% on the height and growth chart. So I made essentially breakfast for 7 days, eggs, pancakes for three people for 7 days. It was gone in 2 days.
Yep, that's what kids do to you.
Like, I literally saw my 16-year-old with three plates of food for one meal, and he disappears into his room. And I was like, oh my God, that was like 20 pancakes, three eggs, and like, eh, what?
Yeah, but even now, like you will find, even as an adult, he will still do the same thing. There will occasionally be times where your body just wants food and nothing but food, and you will eat like a, you could eat a freaking horse if you really wanted to, because you're that bloody hungry, and your body's just like, I'm just putting no limits on your stomach size today, so go for it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just amazed about how much food boys can eat. That's just I just
Yeah, but
send
you got to
reinforcements.
yeah, but you got to remember though, we burn a lot of that off real quick as kids.
Yes. I'm so aware of that. Oh my God. The 6 and 8 year old and 8 year old will not stop fighting. It is fighting. It is wrestling. It is jumping off of objects. It is, yeah, chaos. And there's two of them. Two of them. And just one of me. It's chaos. It's chaos.
That's why you need to buy them things like not so much punching bags, but the pads, so they can, if they're gonna beat each other up, go at least do it properly, and use protection.
That's a scary thought. That's just
Hey, if they start to do that, like go, okay, watch a YouTube on how to use the pads and how to throw punches properly. You can get your energy out that way, and you can get it out safely. Then yeah,
You know what? I'll just put them in like hockey or soccer or something, and then they could just duke it out on the field.
if you put them in hockey, though, you most likely use the hockey sticks to whack each other. Don't ask me why I freaking know that.
That okay? Well, that's true.
Soccer, soccer, they tend to kick the shit out of when you're wearing the shin pads, but yeah, that's painful.
There's just
But
soccer.
at least the one good thing is you won't be in the position where your dad's the coach and you arrive to the field late because your dad's late. Therefore, you have to run laps because you turned up late because your dad was late taking you to training, even though he's the coach. Work that one out.
Oh man, oh that's I just
My dad's whole comment to that was, "It made you a better player, so shut the fuck up."
what uh it did. Mm,
Hey, we got the best trophy, and we got the shield that year, so he kind of does have a point. I think he still has the shield. He's quite
Well,
proud of that.
well, as long as you're happy.
It's one of those. It's one of the few good memories I actually have.
Oh, well, that's good.
Like the only thing I miss is the fact that we got show bags at the end of the year, and we were given these boxes of space bars. They no longer produce them, but they were the most awesome freaking food on the planet. And yeah, you can't get them anymore, which sucks.
I love the food memories.
Yeah, it's like they're like the size of Kit Kats, and you get like two per packet. That was slightly chalky, but there was something about them that was like more nougaty than anything else. And it was, man, everyone would try to steal everyone else's freaking space bars. And it's like, yeah, that's how awesome they were.
No, I love chocolate.
Yeah, if some food company ever made space bars, man, I would be buying like a pallet load. And the thing is, I think it was only in Australia. It's like an Australian and New Zealand product only, which makes it even more annoying because like you guys won't understand what it is. I think they bought it out in time for they the like all the space stuff, like when they're cooking teachers, when NASA was cooking teachers.
Well, now I want space bars.
I wish I could share them. Really do. Like there's a few Australian and New Zealand chocolates and lollies that have disappeared over the years that really need to come back. Same with a few drinks too. It's like
Oh, I want to try it now. I wonder if
uh,
it'll end up like in places like Japan or something where it's, Americana and
no,
they
Japan's
have stuff.
Japan's got the right idea. Have you seen the amount of different Kit Kats Japan has? We have like
Yes.
we have like 4 or 5, and they have like 30, 40 of them. It's like God damn it.
It's heaven. Really.
Yeah, but did you hear what happened with that though?
No.
Somebody contacted Kit Kat in Japan and arranged to send over several shipping containers worth. I think it was to America or to the UK. And the person that was doing the shipping found out what was in the thingo. So when they got to the country where they're supposed to go, they stole every single freaking Kit Kat. The guy was out like millions.
Oh, that totally sucks.
Yeah, they haven't found from what I understand, the guy has still gotten away with that crime. I would, yeah, that like seriously, like I can understand, like it costs money to bring stuff in, but for a heist to go off, like, and you've taken like $2 million or whatever worth of Kit Kats, god damn.
I mean, I'm a Reese's Pieces kind of girl myself, so I mean,
I'm not an overly big fan of Reese's.
what?
It's I don't know. It's to do with that palm oil stuff that they use to freaking make all the chocolates in America in. I'm not a big fan of that. Like I know they're trying to do that over here because the Muslims won't eat the chocolate if it has that particular if it doesn't have that particular oil in it. And it's freaking disgusting. Yet the funny thing is, the Muslims aren't the ones that are buying the damn chocolates to begin with. It's like, if you want to make stuff for the Muslims, go ahead and make stuff for the Muslims, but don't affect the stuff for the rest of us.
I had no idea that was going on.
Yeah, it's a big issue here in Australia. It's freaking annoying. Like everyone's got the shits with Cadbury's and the other big chocolate company here in Australia for doing it. It's like go back to the original go back to the original ingredients. So we're just gonna go no, we're not. We're basically stop buying your product.
Yeah, I like original ingredients. I think I think the world is getting away from individual ingredients. But anyways, what are we gonna talk about tomorrow? Before I
Um,
forget.
Tomorrow I'm going to be fairly busy, but
Okay.
um,
We can try for Monday and
yeah.
see how
Well,
my
t-
schedule
t-
is. If it's
don't forget
slammed, then we'll have to reschedule to
yeah.
Saturday.
Tomorrow is Monday for me. And I've got
Oh,
like appointments in gym and stuff like that. Um, as I said, we can do like the Bennington Triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, the Red Sea Triangle, and just the triangles in general if you want.
cool. I'm down.
I, I can do all that, and I will look into that after I cook and eat food.
Yeah, can you share a recipe?
As I said, I'm just braising. I'm just braising the. I didn't get proper beef cubes today. I just got beef strips because it's easier to use the beef strips. And then I've got the AM rendang mix with the whole heap of proper coconut milk, the one that's only 100% coconut milk, not the 65% coconut milk and like water and 38% water, then all the fats and all the other crap they put in it.
Uh
Cost me
huh.
more, but yeah, so I'm gonna use that and then I'm gonna pull out the roti chan, like heat that up, um, throw in some chilies into the meat once it's braised, and then I can put the sauces in and then cook some rice. And then once the rice is cooked, I'll throw that in with the meat and the sauce, and yeah, that's my dinner for tonight.
Yeah, that sounds like super hard.
It's like 4 or 5 ingredients. That's it.
I will muck
Co-
that up.
Coconut milk, AM sauce, the beef and the roti and rice. 5 ingredients.
What is the AM sauce? What is that made out of?
I don't know. It's whatever it's made of. It's called AM. AYAM.
I don't think we have that.
I don't know. It's popular here in Australia. We love it. I think it's more of a product of the Philippines or Thailand, something like that. But yeah,
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
then I can find it in. Oh, I can find it like H Mart or something like that.
Hold on. You have a Wally World near you, don't you?
What?
Walmart.
Yeah, we have Walmart.
Uh, let's have a look. Wow, you have some really weird name stuff.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, I'll have a look in have a look in a minute. Just let me see if I can find this thing for you. So, and yeah, you've got like rendering page. Holy crap! Uh, $42 for that.
Is our food weird?
Some of it, like you've only got the dry paste. You don't have the wet paste. God damn!
Dry? What are you talking about?
You need to get freaking um Discord, and that way I can show you.
Okay.
Hmm. Ah, so apparently it's AM is actually Australian.
Oh,
You
I
can get it.
figured.
You can get it through specialty Asian grocers or Amazon.
Oh, so you can get it from the specialty grocery store?
Yep,
Like an Asian grocery store?
yep, yep.
And it's called
A
a
Y AYAM. Think of it as a yam. A
a
potato.
yam. Oh, like the vegetable. Oh, okay.
So I had
I'll
to
do
make that
that.
easy for you.
I'll you know what? I'll try that and I'll let you know how it goes.
I could
Like
close you, but that ruins the fun.
Well, no pressure. It's just gonna be feeding my kids, and then I have
And
to like show up. You know, I
and
have to show
Khaleesi,
them something.
put it this way: at least Discord's easier to share the links for the stories and stuff like that, and photos if I need to. I can give it to her, and then she can transfer it across to her thing that way. Doing it by email is a pain in the butt. All right, well, I'm gonna go run away because I want to go cook because it's like 6:30 at night here, and now that I've got power, I can go cook.
Oh, have fun.
Ah, yeah, I will. I'm gonna go make myself hungry as hell.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.